Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this 2020 MacBook Air model A2179. So this is the first time I've opened this model. It's pretty new, so yeah, just know that if you're opening this kind of thing, there is some risk. There's not really much you can do with it, so just be careful. Okay, so first what you want to do is get a Pentalobe 1.2. This is like the same screw that's been used on a lot of the MacBooks since I think 2012 or so. So yeah, so just remove the screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. These are longer. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So make sure you don't mix them up. The back screws are longer than the other screws down here. Once you do that, just go on the back, use your fingernails or pry tool or something, and then just pull up on the back just like this. Alright, and the cover just pops off. Alright, this MacBook had liquid damage, so I don't know if it's going to be savable, but we'll see. I'll check if there's any corrosion and then clean it up. So first thing you want to do, there's this little button here for battery release. So just press and hold that little button. So you can use like a little tool or your fingernail. The little bump is kind of rounded, so just know that it's going to be hard to do. So press and hold it. You'll feel like the button press in, so just press and hold it for several seconds. Make sure it drains out any power from the circuit. Alright. Also make sure you unplugged it and everything, of course. Alright, once you do that, you can lift up this little tab, and then there's the battery connector here. Just disconnect that so it sticks up like this. It's kind of tough, but basically just pull on that part that sticks up. So this is, there you go. And then the battery connector just comes out like that. So let's see if there's anything underneath here. There are some screws and there's some adhesive, so I'm not going to peel that off, just in case they need to bring it somewhere if they have their credit card warranty or something. Okay, so once I disconnect the battery, I'm going to hold this button again just to be safe, make sure everything's drained out. I'm not sure 100% on the proper way to do the battery disconnect, but this is probably the safest way. You can watch other videos. I think some of the regular MacBooks on the older models had this little button, but normally there's a little light, and if the light's on, then you press the button until it goes off, and then that's how you know it's safe. This one, I don't know. I don't know if there. Oh, there's an LED here, so that probably lights up. But because it's liquid damage, it's completely dead. So maybe that's, yeah. Okay, and then you got this little connector here. I have worked on one of these, I think on a 2019 model. I didn't do a video, but this model has the, I believe, the fingerprint sensor and the power button under here. Let me see if it's the same. Yeah, so it's the same. They have that power button and the fingerprint sensor. So once you flip up that little latch, then you can actually lift this cable up, and then you can kind of just wiggle it out, and it'll come out just like that. There's an adhesive holding it on here, and then you can remove these screws. These are held in with a T4 screws. So just remove those. Try and keep all the screws in order because they are all different sizes and shapes. Apple likes to kind of switch all over the place with their screws, so just be careful. Remember to keep them all in order. I like to lay them out like on a desk or something, just so I know where they came from. Alright, so now that you got that up, you can see this connector. You should be able to just pop it up like that. There's nothing. Okay, looks good, no corrosion. There was some corrosion here that I noticed before, and then I just brush it off. So you can use like a toothbrush or something. If the corrosion didn't destroy these components, then sometimes just cleaning off that will help. Alright, then you got the little connector here. I think this is for the, actually for the power button and the fingerprint sensor. So if you lift that up, just be careful because there is an adhesive under it. So you will have to kind of peel that adhesive up. Okay, just like that. Alright, you can use like a little plastic pry tool. Be careful using like anything sharp that you can damage it. Okay, Then I believe these are T5 bits, so I will switch to this green one, which is for T5. Yep. Okay, so again, these are all like changing all over the place, different sizes. Apple likes to kind of keep doing that. So just keep them in order. Make sure you remember where the screws came from. All right, the speaker here has a T4 screw holding this and also an adhesive. I'm not going to take it out, but this adhesive is a stretch adhesive. So you basically peel this adhesive off. I don't know if you can see it because it's black, but there's this little flap here that it's an adhesive, and when you peel it, you can just pull it straight back. Just keep pulling, it'll stretch out, and it'll completely stretch and until all the adhesive comes out. The problem with these is once you take this adhesive out, you're not going to be able to put the adhesive back because it's going to be all stuck to itself. So I'm not going to take it out just because of that. But there is also a screw here, so if you are going to remove it, just make sure to remove this screw as well as the adhesive. Same thing with the other side, there's one screw and then the adhesive. Okay, so because I'm not taking it out, I'm going to actually just pop the oops, what did I do with my little needle? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually just pop the connectors out with this little needle. I might have to just use the flat one. Okay, so the speaker connects under here, so you just kind of get the little needle or something underneath, try and get as close to the connector as you can, and then you can pop it up just like that. So you can see the corner of it, it popped up, and then I'll use my fingernail to kind of go along and pop the rest out. Okay, just like that. So now that's out, and then this board should be able to come out. Oh, there's one more screw there. I think it's also a T4. Yep. Oh, that's actually not really holding the board. Okay, so I don't know if that screw was even holding the board. It doesn't seem like it. So now that we've got that screw out, you can see we can take out this audio board. All right, so this is for the headphone jack. All right, set that aside. And then under here, you can actually see this is for the power button fingerprint sensor. So this is held in with 6 screws. I don't know if I need to take it out. I'll just take it out just to kind of show. Try and again keep all the screws in order. All right. Oops. So I had one person where the audio board on theirs fried. Luckily the headphone jack, or not the headphone jack, the power button connector was fine. I believe on, I don't know if this on all the models, but probably all, if not most, of the fingerprint sensors, Apple puts some kind of coating in it, so if you change the fingerprint sensor, it won't work anymore. So this is already wobbling around. So it looks like, okay, once you remove all the screws, this metal plate comes off. All right, try not to flip it all over the place. You can see that it has this little notch here for the cable. And then the cable, it looks like it actually comes out from the front. So if you are going to take out the button, it looks like you can leave the middle ones. Let's see if that's correct or not. So the power button's coming out. So it does come out from the front. And yes, so if you take out this, you can actually leave the middle screws to keep this plate held, to keep the plate held down. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, to keep that metal plate held down, because only the 4 outer screws are holding this button in place. So you can see that's the button. And yeah, I'm gonna put it back now. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a little risky. If you're opening this and messing with it, make sure that, because if you don't, or make sure to have it, the computer flipped over this way, because when you close it, if the power button is kind of falling out, it might crack your screen. So make sure you have it laying the other way when you close the screen with that in there. All right, and we can put this piece back. Yeah, so there's no point to really remove the middle screws because those kind of just hold the metal bracket in place, and it doesn't hold the power button in place. So just know that when you take this out, you don't have to actually take the whole thing out. Okay. And I don't know why, but this screw looks like a different color, so I don't know if that's how you know it's the middle one, or if there was something stuck to it that discolored it that way, or did I mix these up? Okay, it looks like the middle screws, I think, are like a pale color, and then the outer ones that are holding the button are like a shiny color, so they stuck together and I kind of mixed them up a little bit. So just know that when you do the power button, that the screws that go to the outside are all shiny, and then the middle ones here are more dull. Okay, so I'll just put in these screws lightly and make sure it all lines up. Okay. Just like that. Alright, I'm probably not going to remove the screen. Well, we'll see. Okay, maybe I should just do a complete disassembly for people to see. There's the trackpad cable here, and then it has the little latches just like the cable here, so if you need to remove those connectors, there's that. But I'll take this out just so you can kind of see. Alright, so remove the two screws here. Once you remove the two screws, you can remove this metal plate, and then you can pop up this thing. Alright, there's some adhesive holding this down, so I'm going to leave it here. I believe this trackpad you can remove just by taking these screws out. One way to confirm is just look for the part online. If you can find the part, look for a picture of the back, and you'll see where the screw holes go into the back of the trackpad. But I'm pretty sure it's just these 8 screws that hold the trackpad in place. Possibly this one as well. I don't want to take it out because I don't think it's part of the issue, so, and I don't want to risk damaging anything since I have to like peel up the adhesive here. Let me see if I can carefully peel this. Okay, so here you can see. Maybe I should just open it just to show. Let's see. Is this T5 or T4? Okay, these are T5 screws. So I'll take this out just to kind of see. Hopefully I don't have to take all these ribbon cables out as well. But just so you can see how to change out the trackpad if you need to. Normally I don't completely disassemble, but since it is liquid damage, the liquid could be anywhere in the computer, so might as well open it. I didn't see any liquid here, so I'm assuming it's all near the top, or it could just be that's only where it got corroded. So let's see here. And these batteries, probably like all the other newer Mac batteries, I don't know, it looks like there's tabs that go underneath here, so you might have to remove the speakers to get the batteries out. That will really, if you have to peel out the battery, it's really gonna not be able to go back the same way, so I'm definitely gonna just leave those. Okay, so the trackpad's still holding, so probably the center one as well. Yep. So all the 8 screws on the outside, and then the 1 screw in the middle, and then the trackpad comes loose. So here you can see, if you need to replace the trackpad, you just have to undo this other cable here. So there's this little latch, I don't know if you can see it, but you flip that up, once you flip that up, you can pull this out. Let's see here. Okay, and then the whole trackpad just comes out like this. Alright, so it's pretty nice, the designs they're making for removing the trackpads. I think there's metal plates that you need to transfer over. If you do, let me see, because some of the other models I've been working on, they'll have these metal plates. Let's see. Oh, these ones actually stay in place. Okay, so there are these little metal plates, but just around the two screws. So let me see if I can get one out. Yep. So they look like this. And yeah, and those go around all the two screws. I'm not sure what they're there for. Maybe just as spacers. There's no liquid residue on this, so that looks good. I don't know if this whole metal plate comes up, but it seems like it's stuck down, so we'll just leave that. Okay, so now I'll put this back. Underneath the trackpad here you can see, yep, but it just has the whole pattern there. So I'm going to put this back in. Again, you have to actually keep the computer face down like this, because if you flip it over, then all those little metal washers are going to fall off the screw mounts. So yeah, that's one thing you have to do for this laptop. Okay, then I'll take the middle screw, put that one first. Okay, make sure it's all lined up. The one thing I don't like about these trackpads is they don't tend to be like a tight fit, so when you put it back, it's a little bit tricky to get the right gap or all the way around. So usually you'll have to like put in the screw and then check the gap and then realign it, and then yeah, just keep readjusting it until you get the fit in the center. So get that. Okay. Looks like I can't align it just like that. I'd have to, sometimes to get the alignment right, what I have to do is use like a thin pry tool and then just have it go in the edge. So that side has a lot of gap, so I have to use this and then realign it. So if you have like maybe some paper or something, you can put it in the, and then leave it all around the gap, and it'll keep the gap centered. But yeah, it actually keeps moving itself back out. So I'm going to just put all the screws and then align it better after that. So usually when you put the screws, don't put them completely tight. So I'll tighten it all the way, and then I'll back it out like two twists. And that's how you know that you can actually still move it around. Okay. Just so you can align it and make sure everything is straight. Okay. Or even just one twist backwards is okay. Hopefully this video won't be too long. My phone only records like 40 minutes and then it stops itself, so let's see here. If it does that, then I'll have to do like multiple parts when I upload this. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can line this up and then do all the screws. Okay, so go. It's hard to keep this lined up while you tighten the screws. The screws actually cause it to move around. Yeah, so for this you might want some kind of like spacers in between on the edges while you tighten. Okay, I think I got it. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So if you're having a tough time with that, you might want to use some like small pieces of paper or card to use as spacers all the way around to make sure you get an even gap all the way around the trackpad. Alright. Go. Make sure you tighten them all. So normally I don't do reassembly in the videos that I'm recording. I just take the parts out, but these pieces, I don't want to have too many pieces lying around while I'm trying to put things back together, so I'm just doing it as I go. Alright, so I'll put this connector back in. Right. This I'll leave disconnected, so we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the whole board now. So we got the battery already disconnected, and then we will go ahead and disconnect all these screws, it looks like. Alright, so we will have to disconnect the LCD connector here. So there are 2 screws. So remove those 2. Alright. Once you remove those 2, the metal plate will come out. Just remove that. Set it aside, and then you can pop up the connector here. Alright, just like that. Then you got the wireless antenna here. I'm going to remove this first. So there's this one screw holding the board down. There's going to be a lot of screws to keep track of. Then you got this screw holding this metal plate down for the wireless antennas. Alright, set that aside. Alright, so the wireless antennas, to remove them, just go near the tail and then pop it up, just like this. Alright, you don't want to pry from the front or you can damage it. Alright, there you go. These antennas look like they're going to be in the way while I remove the board, so maybe I'm going to want to actually remove the whole screen assembly. We'll see. Alright, so got that. There's a screw underneath the battery connector. Make sure to remove that one. And these 4 holding the heatsink, I'll leave those in. Move these so I can keep track better. Okay, so then you got another screw here next to the heatsink. Alright, and then you got another screw here. I think this is a T5. Let me make sure. Yep. If in doubt, try the T5 first, because you don't want to make damage the screw and then you won't be able to remove them. So it looks like the T5 is actually working for a lot of these. Okay, so most of these motherboard screws you can actually use the T5. This is definitely a T4, so this is for the charge ports. So if you need to replace the charge ports, then there's the 2 screws here holding it in place, and then there's 2, I believe those use T5 screws holding the thing in place. So remove this little cover. Alright, and then let's see if I can remove this as well. So the charge ports are held in place with 2 T5 screws. And it looks like there's some T4 screws up there as well. Interesting. So once you remove that, you can actually pop up this. Hopefully you can see. Okay. Then you can pull the charge ports out. So you don't need to remove those small silver screws up there. Looks like you might have to remove the motherboard to remove. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you can remove this. Charge ports appear to be in good condition. Alright, so I'm not sure what these... Okay, so these metal things, I guess, keep the space for the USB-C ports properly aligned. Okay, so now we got the other speaker connector here, so I'm going to pop that one up just like the other one with this needle. Alright, just get the needle underneath. And then once I go under, I try and slide it up along the board. I think there's actually an adhesive, but yeah, just pry up one corner of this. Yeah, they put a strong adhesive underneath these connectors, so it's kind of tough to actually get under. Okay. Once you get underneath, then you can kind of pry it up. Let's see if I can get it. Might have to use something like a string if the adhesive is too strong, because this one looks like I can barely get this tool underneath. Let me try with just my fingernails and just use that and pop up. Yep, okay, so I can pop up the connector just like that. There's an adhesive holding it, so just know that. Yep, that adhesive is pretty strong. Okay, then you got one more connector here. I'm not too sure what that's for. It's a pretty small connector. It might be for keyboard backlight or possibly a microphone. So just pop that up, the little latch, and then you can wiggle this connector out. Okay, just like that. Oh, bugs are coming in. I left the window open. Alright, so then the board. Oh, there's one more connector here. So I'll lift that up. Alright, peel that back. And then this connector, you want to lift that latch and then wiggle this out. This looks like there might be some liquid damage there or something. So wiggle that out. Okay, once you got all those pieces out, then you can lift this board up. Alright, hopefully that's everything. Is it caught on something? Got these connectors out. Okay. Then you want to lift this side up because the wireless antennas, and then you can slide this out. Okay, so we go. I don't actually see any corrosion on this side, so all the corrosion was here. Hopefully it didn't destroy anything internally. So it looks good. Okay, back side of the board. I don't see anything. I'll clean it up. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the solid state memory. So it's all soldered to the board. And yeah, the RAM and everything. Probably the RAM's underneath this metal bracket. Okay, so there's that. That's the motherboard. That's all there is to removing that. If you want to redo the thermal paste or something, there's these 4 screws. You can take that heatsink out. If you need to replace this, the video cable, there's 2 more screws and you pop out this side, so you can actually replace the whole board if you need to. Okay, set that aside. And then this connector, I'm not sure what this small connector is for. I have a feeling it's for a microphone. And then this one appears to be for the fan. So yeah, I think that's a microphone, but to take that out, you'd have to take out the battery, so I'm not going to do that. Let me see if I can remove the screen, and then I'll show you that, hopefully. Okay, so I believe these are all T5 screws. Oh, what is this? It's just like a giant hole. Kind of weird. Okay, so I think these 2 black screws here you'll have to remove. So let's see here. Hopefully I'll be able to remember where all these screws went. There's so many. Okay, so remove those 2. Oh yeah, okay, that definitely removes the LCD board. And then these, I believe, are the wireless antennas, so you can remove these 4 screws, the 2 on either side. So these are super long. Yeah, this is to remove the wireless antenna board. So we will remove all those screws. So this is an almost complete teardown, minus the battery and the stuff underneath it, the speakers. But for the most part, if you need to take your thing apart, then this video should help. Okay, so you got the antennas here. They're probably just held down with like some metal spring latches, like on the other Macs. So maybe I'll take out the screen first. Okay. I believe these are going to be T8s. Yep. So, just like all the other Macs, the screen hinges are T8s. So to remove the screen, usually you have to open the screen about 90 degrees or maybe slightly more than 90 degrees. I like to put the screen hanging off the edge of the desk. You probably won't be able to see what I'm doing now, but I'm basically just going to undo the 6 screws for the hinges. Here. Oh, let me see if I can show this. Okay, hopefully my phone doesn't fall off. Basically, just remove the 6 screws there. And then the whole screen should hopefully come out. You might have to remove this antenna thing first. Okay. That's a lot of screws to keep track of. If you do this, hopefully you have a good memory or a good way to keep track of all these screws. If you're wondering how I keep track of all of it, I'll show you in a bit, but yeah. I actually have screws from multiple computers right now, but this is what I do. Okay, so now that you got those out, oh, it looks like you might have to actually open the screen all the way. Okay, and definitely the antennas need to come out, so I'm gonna try and pull the antennas out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, I think the antennas, you just lift it out. There are some probably spring latches like on the other ones holding it in place. Let's see, there's nothing there. So I think I just need to use more force. Okay, it is part of the other thing, so let me close the screen. I'm going to hold the hinges to push the hinges back down, and then close the screen. The hinges are very tough to move, so. Okay, so what is holding this down? Are there more screws somewhere I'm missing? Let's see. It's like the other models, they usually just have a metal spring grabbing onto part of the case. It looks like it's pulling up here, so that's probably what's going on. Okay, so I'm just going to use more force, I guess, and pull this out. Yep. It's coming up. Oh, is there something underneath here? No, there's not. It is just those. It looks like it's just those latches. So, okay. Is that getting it out? It's very strange. I don't know what's holding down these hinges. Maybe there's some secret to this. Pinch in the middles. I mean, for the most part, it's coming out. So it looks like this middle part is stuck. And if I'm correct, it just needs to use some force. Yep, okay. So you just have to use quite a bit of force. So if you can see these dotted parts, some of these outer ones are further this way towards the antennas, and then this middle one is down this way. And that basically just squeezes a bar in the middle here, and that's how it actually holds the antennas in place. So that's how you remove the antenna assembly. Now we can actually remove the whole screen. So just hold the hinges down if you did the antennas afterwards like I did, and then just open the screen all the way, and then you should be able to, yep, so you just maneuver it around, wiggle it around, and there you go. So if you need to replace the LCD, that's how you would take that out. The hardest part is removing these antenna connectors. It looks like to replace it, you don't need to take the whole board out, so if your screen's broken, this is actually a fairly easy screen to change out. There's just the 2 screws here, and then the 4 screws holding down the antennas, and then the centerpiece is hard to just yank out, but other than that, yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to this MacBook Air. There are these little screws holding these little clips in place for the back cover. And then yeah, the battery, it looks like it has an adhesive you basically have to scrape underneath. So if you are going to do this, unless the battery tabs are underneath the speaker, but I'm not going to check all of that because I don't want to permanently lose that adhesive. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help me. And thank you for watching. Bye.